My name is Slade da Monsta. I'm originally from Reedsville, North Carolina. And I moved to Atlanta, Georgia about 10 years ago, just trying to find myself. I really wasn't into music, but music has always been in my life because, you know, I grew up in a church and it was like an elective for my school, and a lot of my friends were hobbyists. My brother's friend from college, he kind of threw me in the game, and I started networking and stuff, and the film wasn't really grabbing me like that. And I went to American Intercontinental University, and I remember we had rolling phantoms everywhere and with our own stations. And I just started going in and messing around because from when I grew up, everybody played music. A friend of mine worked at a radio station. He was a producer, and he used to do the edits and the drops for the radio station. And one night he stole my beats and played them for some guys at the studio, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, whose beats are these?" And he pointed at me, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, it was like poetry. You know, I was kind of ashamed to play my music. I said 6 months, and everybody started going crazy, and one of the producers pulled me outside and was like, "Yo, this is your calling. You know, you really have talent." So from that day, I kind of took it serious. My real name is Marcus Slade. So Slade is my real name, so if anybody was asking or wondering. But I started engineering because I wasn't really making any money selling beats. And two, I couldn't find an engineer to engineer my sessions. People would book me to engineer, and they were like, "I need some beats, I need beats." I'm like, "I'm a producer." And they were like, "Really?" And then I would play my beats, and they would be blown away by my beats. So they would be like, "Oh, you're a monster. You engineer and produce, you're a monster." So that's how the Slade da Monsta name came about. And I started engineering at a studio in Atlanta called Penthouse. I learned workflow, I learned how to be efficient, I learned how to work well with others, meeting them for the first time in the sessions. And that's where I honed my skills at. And then from there, I started to work at a popular studio in Atlanta called Mean Streets. And that's where DJ Drama and DJ Don Cannon work at. That's their studio. So that was like the big leagues for me because I looked up to those guys. So I started working with the likes of Young Thug, Nipsey Hussle, Lil Uzi Vert, PNB Rock, A Boogie with the Hoodie, and I really wasn't, I was becoming good at engineering, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I had to make a decision to be a producer, and those guys embraced me, and I started just focusing on my production, and the rest is history. It's just now I'm here in Paris, you know, making my dreams come true. My definition of being a producer is the coach, the A&R, the artist. The producer is just the centerpiece of the record. Producing goes so far, and it's constantly changing too. So you have to deal with budgets. You have to deal with you have to be an expert marketer. You have to be a confidant. It's so much to being a producer, and it's constantly changing. That's why I love being a producer, because being a producer, I can still be an engineer too. I can still be an engineer, but being an engineer, I couldn't be a producer. You have to know that you're good, because in this industry, the only thing you have to do is believe. Because if you believe in yourself, then everyone else will believe, you know? So you have to believe, you have to trust the process, because it is a process. You know, sometimes you'll want to quit, you'll want to stop, and you'll want to like go other routes, but if you just stay on track, you'll be just fine. I promise you, I'm a living example of that, because I'm from a small city in North Carolina, and I never would have thought in a million years that, I would be doing something like this. So stay focused, believe, and know your worth. Those are three things that are very important. Everybody is talented at this level, but if you have those three things, you'll be fine. When I first sat down on a Rolling Phantom, I didn't know that, oh, this is how you make a loop and add more sounds. Oh, now we have to record. If it wasn't for school, I would have never in a million years been exposed to production. Miss Ostrovsky, I know she would be proud of me right now. Miss O was one of my favorite teachers at AIU. And for some reason, she used to always reference me jobs for teaching. And when you are progressing in school and your peers co-sign you and say, like, yo, you're really good, you can take that into the world and do what you may with it.